Do you consider yourself truly free? Pause and reflect deeply before responding. You awaken and immediately reach for your device, swiping through screens seeking novelty and devotion. Perhaps you grab coffee next, a dopamine hit while viewing brief clips or listening to music to combat tedium. During your commute to work or school, you consume additional stimulation, podcasts, social platforms, endless alerts. When silence finally arrives, what occurs? Unease emerges. Avoid demanding yet another distraction, another instant gratification fix. The issue isn't enjoyment itself. Pleasure serves as humanity's natural mechanism, an evolutionary drive propelling us towards survival necessities. But what transpires when pleasure transforms into our prison? When the compulsion to constantly feel good becomes captivity within an endless loop of immediate satisfaction? Aldous Huxley foresaw this reality nearly 100 years ago. While George Orwell cautioned against a future of harsh oppression in 1984, Huxley envisioned something more terrifying, a civilization where force wouldn't be necessary because citizens would be so amused, so saturated with pleasurable stimulation, that rebellion would never cross their minds. A reality where bondage required no shackles, where individuals would embrace their subjugation. Survey your surroundings now. What emerges? A culture obsessed with amusement, consuming gratification without boundaries, demanding instant relief from every discomfort. But what price does this exact? Does this relentless chase for immediate satisfaction truly liberate you, or does it maintain your imprisonment? Today, we'll examine how contemporary civilization programs us to pursue pleasure as a control mechanism, and why this dependency might be converting you into something unimaginable, a willing captive. If you believe you command your own consciousness, continue reading. Perhaps you'll discover you never possessed that control. Ideal enslavement requires no physical restraints. It demands no brutality, intimidation, or perpetual monitoring. It needs only something deceptively simple yet devastatingly powerful: gratification. When pleasure becomes existence's focal point, bondage masquerades as liberty. This precisely mirrors Huxley's prediction in Brave New World. Picture a reality where individuals question nothing because constant entertainment occupies them, where meaningful pursuit gets replaced by consuming trivial diversions, where pleasure isn't optional but mandatory. In Huxley's dystopia, society conditions people from birth to reject anything causing discomfort. When negative emotions surface, unease or existential questioning, the solution remains readily available: soma, the flawless substance maintaining everyone's sedated compliance. Is this world truly fictional? Examine your daily routine. When boredom, melancholy, or irritation strikes, what's your immediate response? Do you pause to comprehend these feelings, or do you instantly seek distraction? Social platforms, streaming content, food, alcohol, shopping, intimacy, explicit material, gaming, the auctions seem limitless. We inhabit an era of instant satisfaction, where any unpleasantness can be smothered within moments through screen interaction. You never need to confront emptiness, simply fill it with another pleasure dose. The most perilous aspect: everything appears voluntary. Nobody compels you to consume entertainment continuously. Nobody forces hours of Instagram or TikTok usage. Nobody threatens you to purchase, consume, or keep scrolling. Yet if this represents choice, why is cessation so challenging? The explanation lies in behavioral programming. When you habitually seek immediate pleasure to alleviate discomfort, your brain establishes this as the default response. Gradually, you lose capacity to handle boredom, quietude, or self-reflection. Your mind becomes incapable of solitary existence. Unknowingly, you become Huxley's prediction, a content servant in prison not through force, but through gratification. Why does this occur? How does conditioning eliminate critical thinking while trapping us in addictive patterns? Consider why stopping feels impossible. Even recognizing the need for protective focus, your hand automatically gravitates toward your device. Your brain craves fresh notifications, new videos, novel stimulation. This isn't accidental, it's trained behavior. From birth, we're conditioned to avoid discomfort completely. Educational systems don't teach critical thinking but information repetition. Employment markets program production, not reflection. Entertainment culture provides constant distractions, preventing us from questioning our environment. This combination creates a society where the genuine threat isn't authoritarian government suppressing expression, but a system making us completely disinterested in seeking it. Huxley grasped this perfectly. In Brave New World, citizens didn't require brutal oppression. They learned to love their enslavement. From childhood, they underwent hypnopedia, sleep-delivered messages shaping beliefs unconsciously. Phrases like "everyone belongs to everyone" and "a gram of soma solves everything" were embedded in their minds, ensuring they never questioned anything. They matured believing happiness resided in conformity, avoiding profound thought, and fleeing any suffering shadow. Consider how this reflects our reality. Today's conditioning doesn't utilize hypnopedia but employs social media algorithms, corporate marketing, and stimulus floods shaping behavior unnoticed. Each notification triggers dopamine release. Every effortless short video delivering information accustoms you to mental passivity. Each conformity reward, through likes, social validation, or immediate pleasures, reinforces this path's correctness. The consequence? An entire generation incapable of solitary thought, unable to handle discomfort, unable to question systems because they've lost critical thinking habits. Ultimately, no dictatorship is needed for mass control when people themselves reject any mentally demanding concepts. This critical thinking rejection carries a price. When we avoid discomfort completely, we become more fragile, manipulable, and vulnerable. Constant pleasure weakens us, artificial happiness transforms us into increasingly passive entities. Envision a world without suffering, where all pain disappears quickly, where sadness, frustration, or anxiety doesn't exist. Sounds paradisiacal, correct? Look closer. What happens to someone never facing difficulties? What becomes of entire societies programmed to avoid discomfort? The answer is straightforward: weakness develops. Huxley understood this trap with terrifying clarity. In Brave New World, happiness was guaranteed through constant soma consumption, the perfect substance with no side effects, no risks, just immediate pleasure. But what did this happiness truly mean? It meant nobody could handle pain, frustration, or even their own consciousness. Any uncomfortable thought dissolved in chemical comfort. Life became endless superficial pleasure sequences, sex, entertainment, consumption, with any deviation seen as threatening. Observe your surroundings. The modern world lacks soma but possesses equivalents: social media offering instant validation doses, dating applications eliminating rejection fear, algorithms delivering desires before recognition. Everything's designed to eliminate discomfort, gaps, or effort requirements. But this constant pain avoidance costs us psychological strength. The harsh truth: pain serves purposes. Suffering builds resilience. Frustration teaches growth. Difficulty forces evolution. When everything's softened and challenges avoided, we become increasingly fragile. Today, any discomfort feels unbearable. Minor failures become existential crises. Small conflicts seem catastrophic. Anything requiring patience or effort gets discarded because we're conditioned toward easiest paths, immediate pleasure, and quick solutions. This makes us controllable. Societies of strong, resilient individuals accepting discomfort and learning from it will never be docile or accept freedom-limiting systems. But societies of emotionally dependent individuals needing constant stimulation to avoid emptiness, fleeing any suffering form, these societies remain obedient, manipulable, perfect for those seeking power without force. This completes the trap. What appears as freedom, avoiding all suffering, actually becomes our prison. To escape this cycle, we must understand the distinction between pleasure and purpose. While pleasure can enslave, purpose liberates. What do you genuinely seek in life? Happiness or meaning? Pleasure or purpose? The answer might seem obvious, but have you truly reflected on it? Modern society trains us to believe happiness is the ultimate goal. But what does it offer as happiness? Endless sequences of fleeting pleasures, social media likes, impulsive purchases, casual intimacy, binge-watching series, processed foods providing pleasure spikes before leaving emptiness. These maintain momentary satisfaction but never lastingly. That's the key problem. Pleasure remains temporary, requiring constant renewal, or emptiness returns. Consider your life's most significant moments, those truly shaping your identity. Were they instant pleasure moments or challenge, effort, and overcoming instances? Viktor Frankl, psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, wrote in Man's Search for Meaning that humans cannot exist without purpose. He observed that even in worst-case scenarios, those finding greater life meaning manage to survive and maintain sanity. Here lies the paradox. Constant pleasure pursuit weakens us, while purpose pursuit strengthens us. Pleasure is easy, immediate, and addictive. Purpose requires effort, discipline, and resilience. But unlike pleasure, purpose doesn't vanish when effects fade. It builds something within us, providing reasons to continue. Modern society doesn't want you seeking purpose. Purposes require time to build, demanding introspection, effort, and above all, suffering resistance. This contradicts immediate consumption logic. Individuals finding life purpose don't need constant distractions, don't feel compelled to fill every moment with superficial entertainment, and aren't easily manipulated by false instant happiness promises. That's precisely why we're constantly bombarded with stimuli diverting us from this search. A person with purpose is dangerous to systems thriving on our emotional dependence. If something feels missing in your life, perhaps the answer isn't more pleasure but less. Perhaps the path isn't seeking more distractions but eliminating excess. The question you must ask: what truly motivates you? What makes you rise each morning? Are you living off disposable pleasures or building something genuinely meaningful? Understanding how relentless pleasure pursuit traps you raises the crucial question: how do you escape? How do you regain mind control in a world designed to keep you distracted, sedated, and emotionally dependent? First, recognize this isn't an easy battle. The system is designed for your failure, wanting you to continue seeking quick pleasures, feeding algorithms with attention, consuming endlessly. But escape exists, beginning with your decision to become aware of the game being played against you. Strategic pleasure deprivation. The first liberation strategy involves strategic pleasure deprivation. This doesn't mean becoming ascetic and rejecting all enjoyment, but rather consciously regulating exposure to addictive stimuli. The problem isn't pleasure itself, but its use against you as control means. When you deprive yourself of certain pleasures temporarily, social media, processed foods, or compulsive entertainment consumption, something interesting occurs. Your brain recalibrates, beginning to find satisfaction in simple things again, while unrestrained artificial stimuli desire loses strength. Rebuilding discomfort tolerance. The second step involves rebuilding discomfort tolerance. To regain autonomy, you must relearn handling boredom, frustration, and constant stimuli absence. This means allowing silence, disconnecting from information floods, and simply existing without filling every moment with distraction. Initially, this proves difficult. Your brain, accustomed to constant dopamine spikes, will demand more. But resistance reveals something powerful. Discomfort doesn't destroy you, it strengthens you. Cultivating critical thinking. The third step involves cultivating critical thinking. Ask yourself, why do I constantly need distraction? Who benefits from my pleasure addiction? What could I accomplish if I weren't trapped in instant gratification cycles? Increased questioning reveals that many habits and desires weren't truly your choices, they were system programming. Only those asking these questions can begin rewriting their destiny. Replacing pleasure with purpose. The fourth and most crucial step involves replacing pleasure with purpose. As discussed, meaningful pursuit is the true antidote to immediate pleasure slavery. Ask yourself, what truly matters to me? What do I want to build? How can I make my life more meaningful? These are difficult questions, but the only ones truly mattering. Even as you break free from this cycle, surrounding society remains deeply immersed. When you decide to change, something inevitable happens. People see you differently. Some will admire you, others will reject you. When you liberate yourself, you become a mirror reflecting what others don't want to see in themselves. If you've reached this point, something within you has awakened. You've realized that relentless pleasure pursuit isn't freedom but conditioning cycles maintaining entrapment. You understand that modern society doesn't need physical chains for control, it just needs to convince you to flee any discomfort form. Now that you see the trap, the most important question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Truth is, escaping this system requires more than willpower. It means swimming against currents, rejecting easiest paths, and accepting that real freedom often comes with loneliness and resistance. When you stop distracting yourself, you begin seeing. When you see, you realize many around you remain blind. Some will admire this transformation, others will reject it. Some feel uncomfortable with your change because your liberation threatens their illusions. They'll attempt pulling you back, convincing you nothing's wrong with this system, that life should be enjoyed without deep thought. But now you know the truth. Pleasure without purpose is just another slavery form. The choice remains yours. You can continue living as before, distracting yourself, seeking the next dopamine dose, ignoring growing internal emptiness. Or you can decide to reclaim mind control, build purpose, and become someone not easily manipulated. The question is, what will you choose? Have you felt trapped in this cycle? Have you noticed how society uses pleasure as control? Questioning is freedom's first step. If this has made you see the world differently, remember, we don't follow crowds here. We question, reflect, and seek to understand truths others don't want you discovering. This journey of self-discovery and liberation is just beginning. The path to genuine freedom starts with recognizing the prison. Now that you see the bars, will you choose to break them?